Hey everyone. Have you ever walked into like a super crowded room and felt just totally drained, like you were just absorbing everyone's energy? Ugh, it's the worst.
Can be pretty intense.
So we're diving deep into the idea of like chosen ones, you
Yeah.
know, and why they might feel that way.
Okay, yeah.
You've given us some really interesting material for this deep dive, a transcript, maybe from like a spiritual podcast or a guided meditation.
Sounds intriguing.
It's all about the experiences and like the traits of these chosen ones. So let's like unpack this whole concept and, see if it resonates with you. What do you think?
Yeah, I think a lot of people can relate to this journey, even if they don't use that specific term.
Right, exactly. And this source like jumps right into the idea that everything is energy, vibrating at different frequencies.
Right.
You, me, this microphone, everything.
Right.
And apparently chosen ones are like these finely tuned antennas picking up on all those vibes, especially in crowds.
Makes sense.
The source gives this example. Imagine walking into a room and instantly feeling uneasy.
Oh, yeah.
Or, like on the flip side, you feel this sudden connection with a complete stranger. Have you ever experienced that?
Absolutely. It's like an instant recognition.
Right. Me too. There are just some people I click with immediately.
Yeah.
But then there are others, it's like their energy's a total.
Buzzkill.
Yes,
Yeah.
totally. So the source is saying this heightened sensitivity isn't just random. Like, there's a reason for it.
Well, that's what they claim. Chosen ones, they say, have this special role in, like, the evolution of consciousness.
Wow, that's a big deal.
Essentially, it's about humanity shifting towards a higher level of awareness and understanding.
Whoa, big responsibility. But wait, there's a catch, right?
There's always a catch.
The source mentions this sensitivity can also be a burden. Feeling overwhelmed by energies, needing tons of solo time to recharge. Does any of that sound familiar to you?
It's definitely a common experience for many sensitive individuals.
It's like this constant duality. The
Exactly.
gift and the challenge, all wrapped up in one.
And here's where it gets even more interesting. The source suggests that chosen ones also have this ability to energetically influence and heal others, even unconsciously.
So like just by being themselves.
Precisely. It's like they're radiating positive energy.
That's pretty awesome.
So even if you're someone who feels drained by crowds, remember you might also be having a positive impact without even realizing it.
Right. But if you are sensitive to all that incoming energy, how do you manage it? How do you not just like get totally swept away by it all?
The source calls it grounding, and it's basically ways to stabilize your energy so you don't get carried away by all the vibes. Think of it like anchoring yourself to the earth.
I like that. Anchoring yourself. So what kind of things are we talking about here?
They suggest things like walking barefoot, meditation, being in nature, all things that help you feel more centered.
Okay, those make sense. Speaking of grounding, I remember this one time I was at this massive conference, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm starting to feel that familiar overwhelm creeping in. My head is buzzing, energy is scattered. I'm just like, ugh.
Oh no! I've been there.
And then I remembered what I had read about grounding. I snuck out, found this little patch of grass, kicked off my shoes, and just stood there for a few minutes, feeling the earth beneath my feet. It was wild. I felt instantly calmer, more present. It was like magic.
It really is amazing how these simple practices can be so effective, even if you're not feeling completely overwhelmed. They're just good for staying grounded in general.
Definitely. It's not just some woo-woo concept. They actually work.
And they're accessible to everyone.
Totally. Okay, so the source also talks a lot about solitude, something chosen ones apparently need a lot of, which makes sense if you're constantly bombarded by everyone else's energy.
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
solitude becomes a sanctuary, a space to recharge and reconnect with your own inner wisdom.
Absolutely. But then there's the flip side, loneliness.
Right.
How do you balance that need for solitude with the human need for connection?
That's the million-dollar question.
What do you think?
Well, the source suggests being really intentional about your relationships.
Okay, I like that.
Choosing people who understand your need for space and who nourish rather than deplete your energy.
So it's about quality over quantity,
Exactly.
finding your tribe, those people who just get you.
And who respect your boundaries.
Because as we've been saying, relationships are all about energy too, right?
Absolutely. And the source takes it a step further. They suggest that relationships, especially the challenging ones, can be huge opportunities for growth and healing for chosen ones.
Oh, that's interesting. Tell me more about that.
They talk about this idea of relationships being like mirrors, reflecting back our inner patterns and vulnerabilities. It's not about blaming others, but understanding how our own stuff shows up in our interactions. It's a really powerful reframing.
That annoying coworker who pushes all your buttons.
Exactly.
Maybe they're actually showing you something about yourself.
It's a possibility.
Kind of makes you rethink those difficult relationships, right?
This idea of relationships as mirrors is a recurring theme in both psychology and spirituality. And it's all about taking responsibility for our own experiences.
Which takes us right back to that whole chosen one responsibility thing.
Full circle.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it's like they're meant to use their sensitivity to learn and grow, not just for themselves, but to help others evolve too.
It's a beautiful concept, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not just about being sensitive. It's about what you do with that sensitivity.
Using your gifts to make a positive impact.
Exactly. Okay, so the source also describes the inner world of a chosen one as being rich with intuition and a deep connection to something bigger than themselves. What are your thoughts on that?
They're not just sensitive to the energy around them, but they also have this inner compass guiding them. And the source suggests practices like meditation, journaling, art, things that help tap into your subconscious and access that deeper wisdom.
Okay, so practices that allow them to connect with their inner selves.
Precisely.
Which makes sense, especially since the source mentions chosen ones might receive messages from the universe in moments of solitude. Like they're tuned into a different frequency.
It's like they have this direct line to a higher source of guidance.
Very cool.
And that interconnection often translates into a strong pull to contribute to the world in meaningful ways.
So they're not content with just sitting on the sidelines. They want to make a difference.
Exactly. Whether it's through spiritual leadership, healing, or creative expression, they feel this urge to share their gifts and make the world a better place.
So chosen ones are often drawn to helping others and making a difference.
It's a common thread.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here, but before we move on, I think it's worth highlighting some of the key themes running through this material. What stands out to you?
Well, there's this overarching idea of personal responsibility and using your gifts to make a positive impact. It's not enough to just be sensitive. You have to actually do something with it.
Yeah, take action.
And then there's this emphasis on self-care as a sacred duty, not an indulgence. It's presented as essential for fulfilling your role.
Yeah, because if you're burned out, you can't help anyone.
Exactly. Then there's this beautiful thread about the power of community, finding your tribe, those people who get you and support your journey.
Makes the whole solitude thing a little less daunting. Right?
Knowing you've got your people when you need them. And finally, there's this overarching theme of life as a continuous journey of spiritual awakening and evolution. It's not about reaching a final destination. It's about embracing the ongoing process of growth and transformation.
It's not a destination, it's a process.
Precisely.
I like that. And before we go to part 2, we want to leave you with something to ponder. This source never actually defines who gets to be a chosen one. Is it a label we claim for ourselves?
Good question.
Or is it something bestowed upon us? What are your thoughts on that?
That's something for everyone to reflect on. It's a deeply personal question. Welcome back. I hope you had a chance to think about that last question. Who gets to be a chosen one, right?
Yeah,
It's a fascinating concept to unpack, don't you think?
it really is. Gives you a lot to think about. There's just so much more to explore in this material. Let's dive back in, shall we? It seems like this source is really emphasizing this profound sense of responsibility that chosen ones often feel.
It often comes from, well, it seems to stem from this deep-seated belief that they're here to, make a difference, a positive impact on the world.
Right, like they have a purpose.
And that's a noble aspiration, of course. But it can also feel like a heavy weight to carry at times.
Yeah, it makes sense that it could feel overwhelming. So how do you manage that?
Well, the source acknowledges that challenge and offers some guidance. It's not about trying to do everything yourself, but recognizing your limits, knowing when to, delegate tasks, collaborating with others.
Oh, okay. So like finding your people and working together towards a shared goal.
Exactly. It's about, prioritizing, focusing your energy on the tasks that truly resonate with your, highest intention.
Making sure you're not getting sidetracked.
Precisely. And avoiding things that drain your energy. It all comes back to being mindful of your impact, ensuring your actions align with your values.
Right, walking the walk.
Exactly. And remember, even small contributions can lead to significant changes. It's not always about those grand gestures. It's about consistent effort over time.
And consistent effort takes consistent energy. It sounds like this ties back into that self-care theme we were discussing earlier.
Absolutely. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity.
Right, because you can't pour from an empty cup.
The source repeatedly emphasizes that. Self-care isn't an indulgence for chosen ones, it's a sacred duty. Because, well, think about it. Your ability to maintain your own energy and balance, it directly impacts how effectively you can fulfill your role.
So bubble baths and meditation, those aren't selfish, they're strategic.
Exactly. It's about taking care of yourself so you can better serve others. What kind of things do they suggest?
Yeah, what kind of practices does the source suggest for self-care?
Well, they list several practices: yoga, mindful eating, getting enough rest. And they even talk about engaging in spiritual cleansing rituals.
Like what?
Things like smudging with sage or using crystals.
Interesting. What I find really interesting is that they also highlight the importance of mental health.
Definitely.
Like encouraging chosen ones to seek therapy or counseling if they need support.
Absolutely. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of strength
Mm.
and self-awareness.
Because sometimes you need that extra support.
Exactly. Especially when you're dealing with the unique challenges that come with, heightened sensitivity.
Right. Now, even though chosen ones often crave solitude, the source also emphasizes the importance of community. Seems like they kind of need both, right? Time alone to recharge, to connect with their inner wisdom,
Yep.
but also like the support and shared energy of like-minded individuals.
Finding that balance is crucial. Solitude allows for that introspection, right? But engaging with a community, that can amplify your impact and enrich your journey. There's a sense of shared purpose,
Yeah.
understanding, and that can be incredibly supportive.
It's that feeling of we're all in this together.
Exactly. And connecting with a community, well, that can take many forms. Online forums, local groups, retreats.
Workshops.
It's about finding your tribe, those people who understand and resonate with, well, your sensibilities.
The people who just get you.
Mm-hmm.
And who can offer support, encouragement along the way.
And the source also mentions this, the importance of, teaching and mentoring,
Interesting.
passing on your knowledge and insights to, well, the next generation of chosen ones.
That's cool. Creates a ripple effect.
Exactly. A beautiful cycle. And speaking of cycles, the source reminds us that, this journey of a chosen one, it's one of continuous spiritual awakening and evolution. It's not about reaching a final destination, but embracing the ongoing process of growth and transformation.
Right. It's not like you just arrive and you're done.
It's a spiral, always moving upwards, but encountering familiar themes and lessons at different levels.
Oh, I like that. The spiral.
Okay.
So it's an ongoing process.
And they emphasize the importance of maintaining faith throughout this journey, especially, when things get tough.
Because there will be tough times.
Of course, there will be moments of doubt, moments when, the path feels unclear.
Moments when you might question everything.
Right, including whether you're really a chosen one at all.
It's easy to get lost.
Yeah.
So what do you do in those moments? Those moments of doubt, I mean.
The source suggests turning to spiritual practices like prayer, meditation, or, reading sacred texts. It's about reconnecting with your purpose, trusting your inner compass.
Okay.
They also recommend keeping a journal, documenting your spiritual experiences and insights.
Because it can be so easy to forget.
It's a tangible reminder of your progress and the wisdom you've gained along the way.
Okay, so we've talked about responsibilities
Mm.
and the journey. But the source also dives into this idea of, well, healing and transformation. So they have this innate ability to help others heal.
Whether they realize it or not, it's pretty amazing.
So they have this gift.
The source encourages them to, explore those abilities, whether it's through energy work, traditional healing, or even psychological counseling methods.
What's interesting to me is it's not limited to one specific type of healing.
Right. It's about finding what resonates with you
What feels right.
and using your gifts to make a positive impact. And of course, engaging in those healing practices can also enhance your own spiritual growth. So it's kind of reciprocal, right?
Give and receive. Heal yourself to heal others. I love that.
It's a beautiful concept, isn't it? The source also talks about integrating, well, spiritual insights into everyday life.
So not just having these profound experiences in isolation.
It's about embodying those principles in your actions, your everyday life.
Walking the walk, not
Yeah.
just talking the talk.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And for this, they suggest mindfulness as a key tool for that integration.
Mindfulness.
Yeah. Being fully present in
Yeah.
each moment, aware of your thoughts, your feelings, without judgment.
Oh, I see. So bringing that awareness into even the most mundane tasks.
Exactly. Every interaction, every task, an opportunity to practice, whether it's compassion,
Hmm.
patience, integrity, you know.
Living your truth
hmm
in every moment.
And that brings us to the final section, which focuses on the future. Chosen ones are encouraged to envision and create pathways that not only fulfill their, spiritual mission, but also adapt to our changing world.
So not just following the old ways,
Yeah.
but being innovative, responsive to current needs.
Exactly. They're encouraged to be visionaries, anticipating future challenges, finding creative solutions. They even suggest that, strategic planning and goal setting, those can be spiritual practices in
Oh,
themselves.
wow. Because it requires you to really tap into your intuition and align your actions with, like, the highest good.
Precisely. And again, it's not just about achieving personal success, but making a positive impact. And, this impact can ripple outward, influencing more than just our immediate surroundings.
It's a nice thought, right? That our actions, even the small ones, can have a ripple effect, create positive change.
They can indeed. And as we move into the final part of this deep dive, I want to highlight one final thought from the source.
Okay, so we're back and ready to wrap up our deep dive into this whole chosen one thing. Before we go, there's this one last thought from the source that really hit me.
Lay it on me.
So it's like this idea that your journey as a chosen one, with all its ups and downs, it's actually like a thread in a larger tapestry.
I like that.
Your experiences, your growth, even your struggles, like it all matters.
It speaks to that interconnectedness, Our individual journeys, they all weave together to create something much bigger.
Exactly. It's not just about you. And the source leaves us with this powerful reminder. I thought it was so good. They say, the consciousness you carry and share is a powerful force for global transformation.
Wow. That's a big statement.
Right. It's like a call to action, isn't it? Step into your role, make a difference.
Be the change. But, how do we apply all of this to our own lives? It can feel kind of abstract sometimes.
I know what you mean. That's the thing with these deep dives, right?
Yeah.
You got to take what resonates with you, what feels true, and leave the rest behind.
Not every concept's going to click with everyone.
No way. And that's totally fine. If this chosen one idea sparked something in you, awesome. Explore it.
There's a whole world out there. Books, podcasts, workshops, even online communities.
There's so many ways to dive deeper.
Just trust your intuition. If something feels right, go for it. If it doesn't, no worries. Move on.
Exactly. There's no one right way to do this.
What's important is finding what works for you.
What makes you feel more connected, more aligned, more lit up about your own purpose.
And even if you don't vibe with that whole chosen one label, it's okay. These ideas, the stuff about energy and self-care and spiritual growth, it's valuable for anyone on a path of self-discovery, however you define that.
Absolutely. We're all in this together, right? Figuring it out as we go.
Learning and growing and hopefully making the world a little better while we're at it.
So well said. Okay, as we wrap this up, let's leave our listeners with a few things to ponder.
I love that.
First up, how does this whole idea of energy sensitivity and responsibility, how does that resonate with your own experiences?
Have you ever walked into a crowded room and felt completely drained? Zapped.
Or have you felt that instant connection with a total stranger? Like, bam, your soulmates.
Or maybe you feel this pull to make a difference, even if you're not sure what that looks like yet.
And of course, that big question we keep coming back to. What does it actually mean to be a chosen one? Is it a label? Is it a feeling? Is it something deeper?
So many questions.
No easy answers. But that's the fun part. Sit with these questions. Explore them. See what comes up.
Your journey is yours and yours alone. Trust the process, even when it's messy. And keep seeking out those nuggets of wisdom that light you up.
Until next time, keep diving deep, everyone.